Hi, Robert here again, and I'm going to show you some new tips on how to design with that great clustered bouquet that you just purchased at your local supermarket. This grouping is bright and vivid and bold. Look at those great colors: sunflowers, carnations, hypericum berry, and purple statice. Today what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 identical vases that you'll line up either right along your kitchen table or dining room table, or maybe along a kitchen window ledge. But this bouquet is perfect for it. First, we're going to start with removing the outer wraps. I'm going to separate the flowers, carnations, the sunflowers. Look at the beautiful green centers in the middle of these sunflowers. Not all sunflowers have a brown center. Statice and the very popular hypericum berry. Don't forget, always use your flower food. Put a little bit in another vase and then mix it up and then pour it directly into the 3 vases. How we're going to start today is we're going to take one of the sunflowers and 2 of the carnations. I'm going to remove all the foliage that'll be below the waterline. A very important step because it'll keep the bacteria from growing in your vase, and that's what will eventually hurt your flowers. What I'm going to do is I want these to be 3 identical vases. So I'm going to take the sunflower and I want it to appear about here. I'm going to sort of layer these. Let's take one of the hypericum berries and bring it up right above the carnations. Just like that. 3 in a row. Now we'll take one of this purple statice and we're going to break it apart. Don't worry, you're not hurting the flower by breaking it because we're going to give it a fresh cut. So just like that, we're going to keep staggering it around. Just like that. You should have 4 different steps there. Remove the foliage again. There's a little bit on the statice here that we have to remove. And measure it with your vase. We want the purple statice to land just about at the tip of the vase. I'm going to pull this up a little higher because I want it to be a little bit higher. And we're going to make a cut. Remember, always leave a little bit more because you can always cut another time, but you can't put that stem back on. So I'm going to give it one more little trim. And slide it into the little vase. Now we're going to repeat the same step 2 more times. Now you don't have to use all vases that look exactly the same. I just think it's a cool look to have them all the same. Now line these up on your kitchen windowsill or place a couple of votive candles in between for a table arrangement, and you've got a great party piece. This bouquet has basically the same components. The only difference is that the filler has changed, because in these cluster bouquets, remember, they all have accents, focals, and fillers. This time we're using the orange carnations, the purple aster, again, the big, beautiful sunflowers, and the hypericum berry. Let's work with a very popular design vase right now called the cube. The cube is extremely popular. You see it in all the magazines and all the TV shows. They have them on little tables and countertops. The only problem with the cube is sometimes it's a little difficult to work with. However, if you this is called curly willow. You can either purchase this at your local supermarket, or if they don't carry it, just go right outside and find yourself a nice pliable branch and remove all the foliage from it. When you've got that branch picked out, what we're going to do with it, and this is great, this is a great little tip to use for bubble bowls or fish bowls or rose bowls they're called. I'm going to take this branch and I'm going to wrap it around my hand and roll it and create a little round ball of twigs. Now let's place it in the vase and let it expand. What we're doing here is we're creating not only a cool look inside the vase, but we're making a grid, which makes designing very easy. If you want to take another couple of little pieces, you can add them right in by just wrapping them around, and that'll help make more of a grid. Now let's start with our 3 weighty flowers. By weighty, I mean large-headed, bigger flowers. Let's start with the sunflowers. Now slide that right in between the curly willow, right there on the top. And I'm going to take my other 2, and we're going to make them all the same height, or at least pretty close. I want them to be growing up through this arrangement. Now, let's take the carnations. We're going to fluff them open a little bit, and I want the carnations to land just about here, down towards the bottom of my cube. So I'm going to cut them pretty short and slip them all around the bottom, kind of leaning outward along the rim. Keep repeating this step all the way around, because we're going to use this like a centerpiece. And you'll notice that the more stems you put in, the easier the grip gets too. And then this one will be for in the center. This is just a fun little different design that we're making, because you can't always just put the same pieces in a big vase. Sometimes it's fun to play around and really enjoy your flowers. Now we're going to take the hypericum berry, and I'm going to slip these in between. I have 4 pieces. I'm removing the foliage again. Remember, that's a real important step. And we're going to slip these in between. Look at how great that color pops through with the orange from the carnations. The colors in this cluster bouquet are beautiful to work with. Now let's take the aster, and we're going to really poke color through here. I'm going to slide a few pieces up taller. Again, I'm removing the foliage and even some of the little florets that might possibly be in the water line. You can either save them for a little bubble bowl, or see how I'm cutting it here? If you cut like that, you could get 2 pieces out of it, because I could reuse this in there. Turn your piece around, and you've got an interesting looking piece that looks like it's growing right out of the garden. If you have a couple of extra pieces of curly willow, it's fun to tie them right in so that what's in the vase ties in to what's coming out of the vase. There's 2 more design styles with the cluster bouquet. As always, happy arranging!